Have you ever felt something was off with her, but the moment you brought it up, she flipped it back on you? That's not reassurance, that's strategy. When a woman is cheating with someone you know, she doesn't confess. She covers it up with words designed to silence your instincts. And here's the danger. If you miss these signals, you're not just losing her, you're being replaced by someone you trusted. That's betrayal stacked on betrayal. But you don't have to walk blind into it. Because women who cross that line all use the same set of phrases, like a script. Today, I'll reveal the 10 things she'll say that prove she's cheating with someone close to you. Before we dive in, let's make this interactive. If you're serious about spotting hidden manipulation, subscribe now, hit that like button, and answer me in the comments with a simple yes or no. Have you ever trusted your instincts but got told you were overreacting? Keep watching, because the first phrase I'm about to expose is the most common one women use to shut down your suspicions, and most men never realize what's happening. Number 1. You're being paranoid. When a woman looks you in the eye and throws this line at you, don't dismiss it as a casual remark. This is one of the oldest tricks in the book. She is not reassuring you. She is not easing your mind. She is planting doubt, making you question your own instincts. That's gaslighting, plain and simple. Think about it. You notice subtle changes. Her phone is suddenly off limits. Her mood shifts. Her schedule becomes unpredictable. You point it out, hoping for an honest conversation. Instead of addressing your concern, she flips it back on you with, "You're being paranoid." What just happened? She turned your awareness into a weakness. Now you're on the defensive, trying to prove you're not crazy, while she slips away with her story intact. And here's the harsh reality. If she's cheating with someone you know, a coworker, a so-called family friend, she desperately needs you to stop digging. The more questions you ask, the closer you get to exposing what's really happening. So she uses language, not silence, to shut you down. That phrase is her shield, not her truth. Here's what you need to remember. Your intuition is not your enemy. It's your early warning system. A man who ignores it sets himself up for betrayal he could have seen coming. So when she says you're paranoid, pause. Don't argue. Don't defend yourself. Step back, watch patterns, and let her behavior tell the story. Actions will always reveal more than words. A man who trusts his gut never looks paranoid. He looks prepared. Number 2. He's like a brother to me. The moment a woman feels the need to label a relationship with that much intensity, it should set off alarm bells. Let's be honest, no one calls someone a brother unless there's something they don't want you to question. That phrase isn't about comfort. It's about control. She's building a shield before you even think about raising suspicion. Ask yourself this. Why does she need to defend the connection so hard? If it's truly innocent, there's no reason to over-explain. The louder the justification, the more it sounds like a cover. And when the man in question happens to be someone close to you, a friend, a colleague, or part of your circle, that's when the danger is real. She knows you'd never expect betrayal from someone in your inner world, so she hides him behind a label that disarms your instincts. Here's the psychology behind it. She wants to plant an image in your head. He's family, so he's off limits. That way, every time your gut raises a red flag, you silence yourself because she already framed the narrative. It's not reassurance, it's strategy. So what should you do? Don't confront her with anger, and don't swallow the excuse. Instead, pay attention to consistency. Does her behavior with this so-called brother match the label, or is there closeness that crosses the line? Observe how much time she spends, the tone in her voice, the energy she gives. Actions never lie. Remember, a man who respects himself doesn't need to argue about titles. He looks past the words and measures the truth in behavior. And if what you see doesn't align with what she says, you already have your answer. Number 3. You're just insecure. This one is brutal because it cuts straight into a man's pride. When a woman says this, she's not comforting you, she's insulting you. Instead of addressing your concerns, she flips the spotlight onto your supposed weakness. Suddenly, you're no longer questioning her behavior, you're defending your own masculinity. That's not a mistake, that's a tactic. Here's the truth. If she were truly innocent, she would calm your doubts, not attack your character. She would reassure you, not belittle you. But when she calls you insecure, she's setting the stage to silence you permanently. Why? Because no man wants to carry that label. The moment you accept it, you stop asking questions. You back down. And that's exactly what she wants if she's hiding a connection with someone in your circle. Think about it. Insecurity is a convenient excuse for her. It makes you the problem, not her actions. She doesn't need to explain the late-night messages or the sudden closeness with that friend. All she has to do is slap the word insecure on you, and the conversation is over. It's emotional manipulation dressed up as honesty. So what's the solution? First, don't react defensively. The more you protest, the more she'll double down. Instead, separate the insult from the reality. Ask yourself, is my concern rooted in clear patterns I've observed, or is it truly baseless? If the signs are there, trust them. You're not insecure for noticing the obvious. You're alert. A man who values himself doesn't accept shame as an answer. He demands respect, clarity, and consistency. And if she refuses to give you that, the insecurity isn't yours. It's hers, hidden behind an attack. Number 4, don't make this weird. This phrase is designed to shut you down in the moment, to make you doubt whether what you're seeing or feeling is even valid. Picture this. You walk into a room and notice her laughing a little too comfortably with a man you both know. Maybe the touch lingers too long, maybe the energy between them feels different. When you raise an eyebrow or question the vibe, she throws out, "Don't make this weird." On the surface, it sounds harmless. In reality, it's a warning shot. She's telling you not to trust your instincts. She wants to normalize behavior that's already pushing past the boundaries of respect. By saying this, she shifts the burden onto you, as if you're the one turning something innocent into something suspicious. But let's be clear. If it truly were innocent, why would she need to say it at all? Here's the psychology at work. She's trying to control the frame. If she convinces you that you're the one overreacting, she gets to keep doing exactly what she's doing, right under your nose. And if the man in question is part of your circle, the betrayal becomes doubly dangerous. You lose not just her honesty, but also the loyalty you thought you had from him. So how do you respond? Don't let the phrase silence you. Don't argue in the heat of the moment either. Simply observe. Set boundaries clearly, not emotionally. A man with standards doesn't apologize for expecting respect. You don't make things weird by noticing disrespect. She makes it weird by crossing the line. At the end of the day, if it feels off, it probably is. Trust your gut, not her deflection. Number 5. I don't know why you don't trust me. On the surface, this line sounds emotional, almost wounded. But don't let the performance fool you. This isn't a cry for understanding. It's guilt-tripping at its finest. Instead of addressing your concerns head-on, she flips the script and makes you the problem. Now, instead of focusing on her suspicious behavior, you're left defending yourself, scrambling to prove that you do trust her. That's the trap. She knows you've noticed the shifts, the late replies, the unexplained closeness with a man in your circle, the subtle changes in energy. Rather than explaining any of it, she leans on this emotional card. Why don't you trust me? It's not an answer, it's a diversion. By framing herself as the victim, she puts you in a position where pressing further makes you look cruel, paranoid, or unloving. Psychologically, this works because most men want to avoid conflict. You don't want to be the bad guy. And so, instead of holding her accountable, you back off. That's exactly what she's counting on. But here's the harsh reality. Trust is not proven by words, it's proven by consistent action. If she has to tell you to trust her instead of showing you why you should, something's already broken. So what's the move? Don't accept guilt as a substitute for clarity. Stay calm. Acknowledge the line, but shift the focus back where it belongs. Behavior. Say less. Observe more. A man who respects himself doesn't hand out trust just because someone demands it. He measures trust by patterns, by transparency, by alignment between words and actions. Trust is earned, not begged for. And if she keeps asking why you don't trust her, maybe the real question is, why should you? Number 6, we just vibe. At first glance, this phrase sounds innocent, almost playful. But let's not sugarcoat it. This is one of the clearest indicators of emotional cheating. When she says we just vibe, she's not describing a harmless friendship. She's admitting there's a connection, a spark, a pull that goes beyond casual. And if the man she's talking about happens to be someone in your world, someone you already know, that's not just chemistry, that's danger. Here's the psychology. Emotional bonds form before physical ones. The phrase, we just vibe, is her way of downplaying intimacy that's already developing. It makes it sound light, like it doesn't mean much. But pay attention. If she feels the need to acknowledge that connection, it's already crossed into territory that threatens your relationship. Emotional cheating is often more dangerous than physical cheating because it plants roots. It builds loyalty and desire in silence, while you're left wondering why she feels distant. The problem isn't the words, it's the pattern. Who is she vibing with late at night? Who gets her inside jokes, her secrets, her energy that should belong to you? Once a woman starts investing emotionally in another man, especially one within your circle, you're no longer her priority. So what do? Don't ignore the red flag just because the word vibe sounds harmless. Step back and assess. Is she sharing more of herself with this person than with you? Is she excusing late calls, private texts, or lingering time together under the blanket of we just vibe? If so, understand that this is no small thing. A man who values himself doesn't compete with another man for his partner's emotional core. He recognizes when the bond has shifted, and he chooses dignity over denial. Number 7. He gets me in a way no one else does. This is not just a phrase, it's a confession. By the time a woman says this out loud, she's already built a deep emotional bridge to another man. And if that man is part of your circle, the betrayal cuts even deeper. This isn't casual, this isn't harmless. It's her way of admitting that someone else has taken the role you're supposed to have. Let's break it down. When she claims another man gets her, what she's really saying is that he understands her needs, her emotions, her inner world better than you do. That's dangerous because emotional connection is the foundation of intimacy. Physical cheating can be impulsive. Emotional cheating is deliberate. It means she's already invested her trust, her thoughts, her loyalty somewhere else. Here's the psychology. Women justify betrayal by framing it as connection. If she convinces herself that this other man understands her in a way you don't, she feels validated in giving him more of herself. It becomes the excuse, the story she tells herself so she doesn't feel guilty. And once that narrative is built, it's hard to compete because she's not looking for facts, she's chasing feelings. So what do you do when you hear this? Don't beg. Don't fight for a place she's already given away. The worst mistake a man can make is trying to outdo another man in winning back her attention. That only lowers your value. Instead, recognize what this really means. She's already replaced you in her mind and her heart. A man of dignity doesn't chase a woman who's emotionally left. He accepts the truth, stands tall, and walks away with his self-respect intact. Because the moment she says another man gets her, she's already told you where her loyalty lies. Number 8. It's not what it looks like. This phrase only shows up when she's been caught in a compromising situation. Maybe you walked in and found her sitting too close with a man you both know. Maybe you noticed a late-night message that popped up at the wrong time. Or maybe someone else mentioned seeing them together. Whatever the trigger, the moment those words come out, it's not what it looks like. You can almost guarantee it's exactly what it looks like. Let's be clear. Innocent people don't need this line. If there's truly nothing going on, explanations are simple, straightforward, and backed by consistency. But when she scrambles for this phrase, it's because her behavior has crossed the line, and she's desperate to rewrite reality in real time. It's damage control, not honesty. Here's the psychology. In moments of exposure, the brain defaults to survival tactics. She knows you've seen something she can't easily explain, so she leans on ambiguity. It's not what it looks like, buys her time, plants just enough doubt to keep you from acting immediately. The goal isn't to clear her name, it's to stall, hoping you'll second-guess your own eyes. So how do you respond? Don't get dragged into an argument. Don't waste your breath on back-and-forth explanations. Trust what you saw. Observe patterns, document consistency, and let her actions confirm the truth. A man who values himself doesn't need to catch every detail. He only needs to recognize when something doesn't align. Remember this, words can be twisted, but reality cannot. If it looks like betrayal, feels like betrayal, and plays out like betrayal, it usually is. Your strength lies in trusting your perception, not her cover story. Number 9. Why don't you trust my friends? At first, this sounds like a reasonable question, but pay attention. This phrase is rarely about the whole group. It's about one man in particular. By framing it as an attack on all her friends, she hides the one you're really concerned about. Instead of defending her actions, she shifts the conversation into defending her entire circle. That way, you look like the unreasonable one, and the man she's secretly protecting stays out of the spotlight. This is classic misdirection. If she's cheating with someone you know, she can't defend him individually without raising suspicion. So she blends him into the crowd, making it harder for you to isolate the problem. Now, if you question him, you're automatically questioning everyone. Suddenly, you're the bad guy attacking her social life instead of simply addressing one relationship that doesn't sit right. Here's the psychology. Guilt hides in groups. By wrapping this man in the safety of numbers, she buys him cover. And because you don't want to come off as controlling or jealous, you back down. That's exactly what she wants, to keep you quiet while the closeness continues unchecked. So how do you handle it? Don't take the bait. Don't argue about the entire friend group. Narrow your focus. Observe who she defends most fiercely, who gets the most of her time and energy, and who she insists is just like family. You'll find your answer not in the group, but in the individual she's protecting with such intensity. A man who values clarity doesn't get lost in the crowd. He knows that loyalty isn't proven by association, it's proven by consistency. If one friend stands out too much, that's not paranoia. That's your instincts telling you exactly where to look. Number 10. You never listen to me. On the surface, this sounds like a simple complaint, but in reality, it's often a setup. By framing you as emotionally unavailable, she creates the perfect justification for seeking connection somewhere else, sometimes with a man who's been in your circle all along. It's not about communication, it's about rewriting the story so she feels entitled to betray your trust. Think carefully. Everyone argues, and no relationship is perfect. But when this line becomes a theme, not an exception, it's more than frustration. It's a narrative. She's painting you as the man who doesn't care, doesn't hear her, doesn't show up. And once that story is established, she uses it to explain why she's turning to someone else. In her mind, it's not cheating. It's finding what she needs. That's not honesty. That's rationalization. Here's the psychology. People justify their actions to protect themselves from guilt. By blaming you for not listening, she shifts the responsibility. The betrayal no longer feels like her fault. It becomes inevitable. And if the man filling that gap is a friend, co-worker, or someone you already trust, the knife goes in even deeper. So how do you respond? Don't fall into the guilt trap. Don't scramble to prove her wrong by overcompensating. Instead, step back and evaluate the reality. Is this about genuine communication issues, or is it an excuse layered on top of suspicious behavior? If it's the latter, recognize it for what it is: a justification for disloyalty. A man of value doesn't let guilt cloud his judgment. He listens, yes, but he also demands accountability. If her words don't align with her actions, you don't need to explain yourself. You need to decide if she deserves a place in your life at all. Cheating with someone you know is more than betrayal. It's an earthquake that shakes the foundation of your entire life. It's not just her disloyalty you're facing, it's the loss of trust in the people closest to you. That double blow is what makes this form of betrayal so devastating. And the cruel truth is, it rarely starts with obvious actions. It begins with words. The phrases we just covered: "You're being paranoid," "He's like a brother," "We just vibe." These aren't random. They're calculated. They're verbal smokescreens designed to keep you second-guessing yourself while she gets closer to someone you never thought would cross the line. Words become her strongest weapon, because if she can twist your perception, she doesn't need to hide her behavior. She just needs you to doubt your instincts long enough for the damage to be done. But here's the shift you need to make. Stop treating your intuition like an enemy. Stop letting guilt, labels, or accusations of insecurity silence your awareness. A man who trusts himself cannot be manipulated. A man who observes patterns instead of chasing explanations is never blindsided. Understand this: loyalty doesn't need defending, and respect doesn't need excuses. If her words don't match her actions, the gap between them is where the truth lives. And you don't have to chase it. Just pay attention. So here's my challenge to you. The next time you hear one of these phrases, don't ignore it. Don't let it slide. Listen. But also observe. Guard your self-respect like it's the most valuable thing you own, because it is. If you've ever faced this kind of betrayal, share your story in the comments. Other men need to hear that they're not alone. And if you want to stay ahead of manipulation, subscribe now. Like and share this video with someone you care about, because the harsh reality is, he might be the one who needs this message most.